22, Alistair Kellett, former Fiesta champion himself, who is now looking to try and grab himself his second win of the season. And just alongside him will be Zach Lucas, who, again, hasn't won a race yet, has won race in the Fiesta Championship before, and potentially even get a good start and get in front. Could make it a 6th different winner. Just shows how competitive these brand new ST240 class cars really are. Turbocharged, 240 horsepower, really good to see. Rob Smith in 3rd place. Of course, former British GT racer who's been prying his craft in Fiestas for the last couple of seasons. And then in 4th place, of course, we've got David Nye, who took 2 wins at Snetterton, and he's looking good to try and increase that tally as much as possible. David Nye's former class champion in Fiesta, so he'll be looking to try and make it. He came into the weekend equal second in points with Rob Smith on drop scores. He was both 7 points behind Luke Pinder, who is starting further back in the field. We'll get to him in a second. Just behind on the camera here, we've got Jamie Going here, of course, team boss of Jam Sport, who took his first win in these brand new cars at Snetterton as well. So 5 different winners, as we say, so far this season. Potential for more. There's Simon Horrobin. Of course, he's a stalwart for Specialised Motorsport. And then just behind him, we've got John Cooper, who has probably done more laps than anyone else in one of these newer specification Fiestas for this season, after he was testing that car as early as February last year. And took both wins at Croft to start the season. And that was at a point when everyone else was just starting to get to grips with these cars as well. Just behind him is a notable driver. We've got Stuart Robbins here, another former class champion in Fiestas. Good to have him back on the grid from Alton Park. And he liked it so much of his what was meant to be kind of a tryout appearance at Alton Park. He stayed for the rest of the season. We've got the ST150s as well on the grid. We've got, for them, it is defending champion Sam Watkins, who starts on pole for them, from Ethan Rogers and from George Davis. But as the field starts to go out here at Cadwell Park for our second race of the weekend for the BRSCC Fiesta Championship, let's hand over to Andy for the current grid heading on to the second race.
Yes, right then. Grid for the BRSCC Fiesta Championship is as follows. It's the result from yesterday's race, as ever, that decides this one. So Alistair Kellett on pole, Zach Lucas alongside him. Rob Smith, who, like I said, is now joint second in the championship with David Nye. They share the second row of the grid. They're only 7 points behind Luke Pinder now after drop scores are calculated. Jamie Going and Simon Horrobin are next ahead of John Cooper and Stuart Robbins. And then on the 5th row of the grid, rounding out that top 10, we've got Spencer Stevenson and Luke Pinder, who hopefully has got whatever this issue was from yesterday sorted. The car kept losing power, it seemed, out on track. Marco Ricci and Sam Watkins are next. Watkins the highest placed of the ST150s, the older spec Ford Fiesta STs, making a welcome return to the championship. Ethan Rogers and George Davis behind him, ahead of Briony Davis and Marlo Cordell. Then we've got Dylan Hotchin and Dominic Bush rounding out the 18-car grid in theory, although those two were non-finishers yesterday, both retiring on the 7th lap of the 9-lapper. So Pinder then 225 points, Nye and Smith 218. Simon Horrobin, who's only been on the podium twice this year, is still in touch though on 196, 2 points ahead of Jamie Going and Zach Lucas, who are tied for 5th. It is incredibly close this year in the Fiesta Championship. This switch to the ST180 turbos, these newer spec cars, that previously had a class of their own, which was Class D, and there were maybe 2 or 3 of them racing when it first started, when they first started using these cars. But now we've got, as you can see, the majority of the field are these ST180s. The racing has been better, really, and the championship's been more competitive as well, with 5 different winners so far this season from the first 8 races, and almost everyone has had a podium, actually. Of the ST240 drivers, there are only, I think, 2 or 3 of them that haven't been on the podium yet this season. So incredibly competitive, so many drivers capable of running strongly, and it seems to vary from week to week. At Croft at the start of the season, John Cooper won both of the races. He's not been on the podium since. Then we went to Alton Park when Luke Pinder took a pair of victories. Snetterton, there were 2 wins for David Nye, and they had 3 races that weekend, the third of them won by Jamie Going. And then Alistair Kellett won yesterday. So are we going to get another couple of new winners? There are a few candidates, aren't there? Rob Smith hasn't won a race yet, Simon Horrobin hasn't won yet, and Zach Lucas hasn't won yet. Zach Lucas starts on the front row, so every chance we could get a 6th different winner here, maybe even a 7th later on this afternoon. Let's wait and see then. 15 minutes, excuse me, of racing about to get underway then for the second time this weekend in the BRSCC Ford Fiesta Championship. Fiesta Seniors then, the sort of next step up the ladder from Fiesta Juniors, who we saw racing earlier on. That race was an absolute thriller. What do the seniors have in store for us? Let's find out. The lights go out, and it looks like a pretty even start from the front row. John Cooper making some moves in the background. Rob Smith there trying to find a way ahead of the front row sitters. He's almost pushing the pole sitter Alistair Kelly into turn one, and there's contact. Jamie Going is off. He's taken someone else with him. John Cooper, I think that might be. They've both exited stage right there as they go into Coppice Corner. One of them was rejoining. Will they both get going again? We'll have to wait and see. The leaders come out of Charlie's, though, and that looks like it's Kellett leading the way then, from Smith second and Zach Lucas down to third. So Rob Smith maybe is going to challenge for his first victory. One or two of the ST180s have been delayed, I think, a bit further back. Rob Smith really is challenging for victory here. Goes to the outside into Park Corner. The right rear wheel sticking up in the air there, but he couldn't quite get the car stopped in time, and so he has to settle back into second before Zach Lucas reclaims that P2 from him. So out of Park Corner then, through the top end of the circuit they go, and there is Jamie Going. So Going is still there at the back. Did John Cooper get going again? I think it was Cooper that had actually had a good start, and ironically that kind of put him in the firing line then when we got to turn one. We'll check on the timing screen at the end of the lap to see whether he has been able to continue in the race. Further back, meanwhile, the ST150s, that doesn't look like, no, it's not Sam Watkins leading the way, is it? That was George Davis as for the overall race lead. Look at how tight it is, 5 of them together, and 5th in that shot, the all-blue car, is Luke Pinder, the championship leader. So the car already going more strongly than it did yesterday. So it's Kellett that leads, Smith second, Lucas third, David Nye fourth. There is Luke Pinder. So Luke Pinder, as long as the car stays underneath him this time for 15 minutes, could be on course to challenge for a podium again. Through they come then, Alistair Kellett with the race lead. He won yesterday's race by 1.1 seconds, but it was a lot tighter than that for most of the race. Is he going to be able to get another one then here today, having survived the early attack from Rob Smith, who is in second place? Things are looking good for him. Smith getting away from Lucas slightly, so the top two gapping the next little trio. Then you've got there Spencer Stevenson, the red car, with number 14 Simon Horrobin right behind him. So Horrobin started 6th, dropped down 1 position on the first lap, but he's challenging to get that 6th place back now as they go towards Park Corner. It's a single file for the top 5, side by side for 6th. Horrobin to the outside line. Has he gone right round the outside? He has. Brilliant stuff there from Simon Horrobin, who was a front runner a number of years ago in the ST150s before the ST180 turbo cars sort of took over as the top class in the championship. Horrobin was a regular race winner. And Simon, as I've said, still looking for his first victory this year, but has been on the podium twice, including yesterday. No, sorry, twice, including once at Snetterton last time. He missed out on the podium yesterday, didn't he? And he finds himself back in 6th place again in the early stages of this one. Really mounted then. Pinder right up on 2 wheels. Really spectacular stuff. These things are quite stiffly sprung, aren't they? So if you do hit a curb, which they all are doing, it's really going to bounce the car around. Simon Horrobin's car dancing his way into the Hall bends. What a brilliant shot that is as they head into that final sequence of corners and make their way through onto the end of another lap. The top 2 then nose to tail as they come out of Barn Corner back towards the start-finish line. It's even closer though for 3rd, 4th and 5th. Zach Lucas trying to escape here from David Nye, but Luke Pinder is the man on the move. So Pinder, as it stands then, running in 5th position, would score 36 points. Rob Smith, who is his nearest championship rival then, would score, Rob Smith is running in 2nd, he would score 46. So that, as it stands, would put Rob Smith into the championship lead. So Pinder needs to try and make progress here. So Zach Lucas running a bit wide there at the front of that queue in 3rd position. Fastest lap, by the way, goes to Rob Smith in 2nd. That's a bonus point, so it means he's taking 11 points now out of Pinder. David Nye, of course, the man that is tied with Rob Smith for 2nd in the points, but Nye is only 4th, so he's not benefiting quite as much from this. There go the ST150s, by the way. The lead battle there is very close. It's an all-red affair. The 3 red cars are all fighting for the class lead, and we're going to see a challenge here, are we, from the number 11 of Ethan Rogers to try and get up the inside of George Davis. He's not close enough to do it at Park, though. There is yesterday's winner, Sam Watkins, 3rd in line, working his way through Charlie's and through Chris Curve, and then behind Marlowe Cordell has got Dylan Hotchin for company. So Hotchin did get out after his retirement yesterday. They're getting held up a bit here, aren't they, by Marco Ricci in the ST180 car. So they could do with clearing him, really. So John Cooper, incidentally, is out of the race. I think he did limp back to the pits at the end of lap 1, but he is out. So Cooper retired, and Jamie Going, though, did carry on, and actually isn't a million miles behind this group. He's about 5 seconds behind them, as Ethan Rogers slows over the top of the mountain from second place in the ST150s. Ethan Rogers has hit problems that looked like drive shaft or gearbox, didn't it? I suspect gearbox, because the car still has power, but I don't think he can get it into gear. So, what a shame for Ethan then, who was fighting for the podium then in the ST150 categories. That takes a bit of the pressure off George Davis, but he's now got yesterday's winner, Sam Watkins, really not that far behind him. As they come across the start-finish line, then the overall race leaders have already gone through. No change in the order at the front, although David Nye in 4th place has just set the fastest lap at 1:39.844, so he steals that bonus point away from Rob Smith, who had it previously. As there, George Davis tries desperately to get ahead of Marco Ricci. So these ST180 turbo cars, they are, as the name would suggest, turbo powered. So they've got that extra horsepower, but that adds a lot of extra weight to the car. It's also a less aerodynamic and a bigger bodied car, so down the straights it's quick. Through the corners, a well-driven ST150 is quicker, and that's the problem that George Davis is finding here. He's catching Ritchie through the twisty stuff and then can't actually get past him down the next straight. There, looks like John Cooper, isn't it? Just ahead of them. Or is it? No, it might be Dominic Bush in a similarly liveried car to John Cooper, because Cooper is... no, Cooper is back on track, so that is John Cooper. Rogers got back to the pit lane after slowing, but John Cooper, look, is stationary now on the track as he tries to let these cars through, because he's a couple of laps down. Not a huge amount of damage done to that car, though, really. The left-hand side's a bit bent, but, yeah, that's not actually all that bad. So came in presumably just to check things over after his contact at the first corner. So waiting then for this shot, which is a 3rd place. Lucas, Nye, Hinder and Horobin still together. Alistair Kellett now has the fastest lap. The race leader is 1.3 seconds now ahead of Rob Smith. So Kellett looking a lot more secure now in the lead of the race. Hinder a little bit squirrely out of Charlie's corner. 1:39.066 then for Kellett, compares to his fastest lap yesterday of a 39.2. So a couple of tenths quicker. That was an average speed of nearly 80 miles an hour yesterday, so they should have exceeded 80 now here today, which, on as tight and technical a circuit as this, it really does go to demonstrate, actually, what a high average speed it has, Cadwell Park. Yes, it's tight and technical, but you can carry a lot of speed through those technical sections with really only one properly slow corner on the track, that being the hairpin at the end of the Hall Bends. Things just settling down now. They were into the second half of the race, 7.25 minutes on the clock. And David Nye, ex-British touring car racer, coming under a little bit of pressure now from Luke Pinder. They've really dropped Horobin suddenly. I didn't spot what happened to Horobin, but the grey car that was right behind them isn't anymore. Is he still there? Can't see Horobin. No, I really can't see Horobin. Horobin is going quite slowly, actually. He's about to come into shot. He was about to come into shot in that next group. Simon Horobin, I think, might have a problem in the number 14 car. Wonder if he's going to head to the pit lane this time. So out of barn come 3rd, 4th and 5th, but there should be a 4th car in that shot, and there's not. He'd been overtaken by Stevenson and Robbins, I saw out of the window as they went through the Hall Bends. There's Stevenson. Well, he's back ahead of Robbins now, but Horobin's car is down on straight line speed, isn't it? So Simon Horobin fighting some sort of a problem here. That's a shame. Might be, oh, and that is as the leader in the ST150s off. George Davis has tangled with Marco Ricci, hasn't he, as he was battling with that ST180 back marker, and that now means that Sam Watkins is alongside George Davis for the class lead across the start-finish line. They're banging wing mirrors, almost anyway, as they go towards the first turn, and here comes Ricci in the more powerful turbo car to try and get back ahead of them. That was tight as they disappeared through Coppice Corner. Wait for them to come back into view through Charlie's. Who's going to be in the class lead? Is it still Davis? Yes, it is, with Watkins next in line, but Davis goes very, very, very wide on the grass, and he's going to bounce his way halfway down the park straight before he finds some tarmac. Immediately comes across to the right-hand side of the road to defend. Watkins goes to the outside, but Ricci is there as well, pushing Watkins through almost. So Watkins takes the class lead. Ricci now tries to go to the inside of him at Park Corner, but of course the lighter ST150 can brake a little bit later. Oh, you've got a feel for George Davis there. They're getting tangled up with a car in a different class to him. which has potentially now cost him the class victory. There must have been some sort of contact or incident at the hairpin. And now, look, he's getting held up again behind Richie through the twisty stuff. There's going to be some real frustration here for Davis, who knows that has really cost him. He sweeps around the outside of Richie at Mansfield, but then Richie's got the power to get back ahead of him again down the straight towards the mountain. Brilliant battling between them, and that is mightily frustrating and disappointing for George Davis then. Here comes the third place squabble within the turbo cars. Still all in the order they were in at the start of the race, really, after the early shuffling. You can see Rob Smith ahead of them. Now, Rob Smith is 2.3 seconds clear of them and still lapping faster than them. As off now goes the 27. That was Marlo Cordell, who I think Dylan Hodgson has just gone past. I reckon Dylan Hodgson in the 75 is ahead of him now as a result of that. So, oh, that's sad. David Nye very sideways, and Luke Pinder. I think Nye got a wheel on the grass as he turned into Park Corner there. In a front-wheel drive car, though, you just floor the throttle and it tends to bring the front end around, which it did. But that was a scary moment for David Nye. So, Nye amazingly saves it and retains fourth place, but that just eases some of the pressure from Zach Lucas now. Zach Lucas, the green 111 car, see he's got away from these two now as they make their way into the mountain. 3 3/4 minutes still to go. Curves, there's Rob Smith, there's Zach Lucas. Now, can Lucas use this to catch Smith for second, I wonder? Now that he's not having to watch his mirrors so much after Nye's mistake, can he go after the second place car? Because Smith's pace does seem to be waning a little bit, doesn't he? He was a couple of tenths slower than the leader last time. He was still 3 tenths quicker than the group behind, but Lucas, I think, has gained a bit on this lap. Let's see what the lap times are then. It's a 39.8 for the race leader, is it? Timing screen's perfect, mate. Stop working. A 40.1 for the leader, a 39.9 actually for Smith, so fractionally quicker than the leader, but it was a personal best lap for Zach Lucas in third. Of a 139.6, so about 3 tenths quicker than Smith ahead of him. The gap is down to 1.9 seconds, but there are only 2 laps to go. So I'm not sure he's going to have time to get there, is he? So as they work back through the hairpin, that's Jamie Going's slightly damaged car. Damaged the front end of that one after his contact at the start. There's, is that Bryony Davis or George Davis? That is George Davis, 281, who's really faded now from Sam Watkins. Sam's 2.8 seconds nearly ahead of him. And a couple of the turbo class cars now separating them, so George going to have to focus the rest of his attentions on fending off Dylan Hodgson, who's moved up from the Fiesta Junior Championship to race in the Senior Series now. And Hodgson retired yesterday, but is on for a podium in this one potentially, and could even make that a second place rather than a third. So here come the turbo front runners then through the Hall Bends for what should be the penultimate time. Going to be tight, but I don't. Yeah, Kellett's at the hairpin with 1 minute and 45 to go, and he's lapping in the 1 minute 40s. So by the time he gets back to the line, there'll be less than a lap time left on the clock. That will mean this is the final lap that they're going on to. Smith, I think, has reacted a bit here to the imminent threat from Zach Lucas. I think he's going to be quicker than the third place car this time. In fact, I think he's going to be quicker than the race leader again. Kellett does a 40.0, and yes, Smith a 39.8. No, actually no. So Lucas did a 39.3, so he was half a second faster. Strange, the gap didn't look like it had come down by half a second, but it is now only 1.5 between them. But at that rate, he's not quite going to get there in time before the checkered flag comes out. Through the Hall Bends comes the ST150 leader, and George Davis from second is off the road. He's on the grass. He almost scrapes down the side of the barrier, and through goes Dylan Hodgson into second place. That was, unfortunately, an unforced error there from George Davis, and it costs him second position. And that will hand it on a plate to Dylan Hodgson. Hodgson's fastest lap, by the way, a 44.3 44.3 on the previous lap. It was very, very competitive, a personal best lap of the race, pretty deep into the race for Dylan. Be interesting to see what he can do from a reasonable grid position in race number 3 later on today. Alistair Kellett, though, comes up over the top of the mountain, and he looks as though he's going to take another race victory then. Alistair Kellett, who, as I said, missed out on the first event of the season, but he's been on the podium in the last 3 races. A second and a third at Snetterton, a win yesterday, and he's going to take his second victory of the season in this one too, and he retains the fastest lap, so 52 points will go the way of Alistair Kellett, who comes across the start-finish line and takes the checkered flag for the second time here at Cadwell Park. Rob Smith second, Zach Lucas third, David Nye fourth, and Luke Pinder in fifth position then. So Pinder scores a few more championship points then. Waiting for the ST150s to come through as well. Confirmed that it was Sam Watkins that came home to take the victory. He was actually catching Simon Horobin, who in that ailing turbo car towards the end. Horobin, though, should still be the next car across the line. Horobin's lap times dropped off by about 8 seconds once he encountered his issue. Is he going to make it to the flag? He should be here shortly. Flag waves. Is that for Simon Horobin? It is. There he is. And Sam Watkins, I don't think he's going to be that far behind. There he comes, look, just ahead of John Cooper, who is a lap down. Marco Ricci, who is not a lap down. And then Dylan Hotchins, second in the ST150s, and George Davis, hand out to the window, but I don't think he's going to be terribly happy how that race rounded out for him. So points-wise then, Kellett gets 52, Rob Smith gets 46. Zach Lucas gets 42. It will be 38 for David Nye. Oops. And then 36 points for Luke Pinder. So as far as the championship front runners are concerned, that will put Nye ahead onto 358 points. And 317 for Luke. Sorry, no, beg your pardon. Try and look at the right tab on the points table there. So it will move then. Rob Smith into the championship lead. Pinder should retain second, and David Nye third. But it's all going to be very tight still between those three.
Sounds very good, yeah, considering I didn't test or anything, so yeah, I got a good enough start, but Rob got a great start and he was all over me for the first couple of laps, and as he said himself, I got 2 good laps, got a little gap, and I think Zach was kind of all over me as well, so once I got the gap I just sort of managed it and seemed to pull away a little bit, but yeah, good race, yeah.
So now you've got to try and make the hat-trick later on this afternoon.
I don't think we made the hat-trick round here, starting from 6th or 8th, wherever the reverse grid is for, but okay, we'll see what happens. Yeah.
It's nice to have you back because of COVID you weren't able to travel across some islands, so how nice is it to be back amongst the paddock, amongst drivers you're familiar with, and with the new cars that we spoke about yesterday. You look like you're enjoying yourself immensely.
Yeah, it's great to be back. Like, we missed all last year. We actually missed Croft at the start of the year because we couldn't travel, but since Alton was an okay weekend, but from Snetterton on we seem to have eventually got to set up right in the car. It's, to be honest, it's on rails around here, so I can actually place it wherever I want. Does what I wanted to do, and it's brilliant. And the guys are all great to race with, very clean, and yeah, it's great to be back.
Great stuff. Well, we're going to get your trophy in a second, but well done, and we'll see you for race 3 later on.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Let's see if we can grab, I think second place was, I think it was Zach, so Zach was in second place. Stace, if you can grab that, Zach, just for second place. It's one better than yesterday, and looks like a pretty decent battle out there with Alistair and Rob out there.
Yeah, it was. I was back row watching them two battle it out, which was pretty fun. And then I see David creeping up behind me, and then luckily Luke Pinder come up behind him and gave me a little break. Managed to break away a little bit.
So front row again for race 3. Can you try and beat Alistair off the line?
I hope so. We'll give it a go.
Good stuff. We've got these ambassadors out, so we'll let you go and grab your trophy in a second, but well done for second place. Let's quickly see if we can grab Rob for second for third place. Rob, quickly for third place. They're the podium, and smiles-wise, anything, you enjoyed that, didn't you?
I did enjoy it, but I just can't believe how boring I am this year. I can get on the podium, but we just haven't got the speed to win, and I really want to win this year. And these guys are good drivers, and they're not making it easy for me, but we're consistent, the car's running well, and third yesterday, second today. Can we go one better?
Surely
for the last one.
Surely the sequence has to be third, second, first. It has to be.
That's what Alfred, my son Alfred, that's what he said. It's got to be first next time, Dad.
Well, fingers crossed it is. Go and get your trophy, and we'll see you for race 3 later on.
Thank you very much.
Good stuff. I think we've got time just very quickly to have a chat to our ST150 winner, who was once again the man with number 1 on the door. Very quickly. So, Sam, again, driving like you've never been away.
Yeah, it's been really good fun. Fortunately to find gaps every now and again, but yeah, there was some good racing in that one.
Great stuff. Well done. We're running short on time. The next race is about to come up, but well done for another victory. Hopefully 3 out of 3 later on.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.